Okay, hello everybody. My name is Mason and I'm here today with,
Soraya Monday.
and we are on this show called 5A to Z. Now, most of you may be wondering what is this program all about? Well, we were approached by 5A Realty Sdn Berhad, and they are a real estate agent. And we are here to do a show based on, you've got it, property. So we thought that it was a rather interesting topic to start with because I have very little knowledge about real estate and property. How about you? Oh, and this is great because we wanted to make sure that everybody that viewed this are learning together with us, or the other way around, where we are going to learn from you. Okay, so how it works is it's called 5A to Z, which means we cover every single topic there is to talk about when it comes to property. So we've got a lot of things, and maybe what we can do is, for starters, let's just kind of share with you what we meant by minimal experience and zero experience. Okay, so maybe I can start first. Okay, so I start first. Let me see. Bought my first property from my dad. Okay, so as you can see, that's very trustworthy, right? So for me, the sale was very, very easy. All I said was that I would like to buy over your property. He said, sure, Sen, why not? And he did everything for me.
Right?
And he did everything, all the paperwork. He contacted the lawyer. He said, okay, go it with this bank. And honestly, the entire experience is just me signing off. He just said,
Wow.
you sign here. You sign here.
Wow.
You sign here. Yeah, I didn't even know whether or not the valuation was done correctly or anything like that, because my dad did everything for me, right? And just like that, I was a property owner. So what about you, Soraya? What was your experience?
Well, I have not had experience like yours. Mine was a bit different. I actually had the painful experience of number one, disposing a property, and number two, recently acquiring a property. But again, it's just look up internet property guru, iProperty, or any of these other platforms, and then trying to make my way, grope my way around in the dark. But even now, I'm not too sure whether did I make the right choice, or was there better options out there? Were there better options? Could I have negotiated better? Did I even negotiate? I don't recall even negotiating because I was so ignorant to what is out there. And unfortunately, I think the older generation, I think, are a lot better at this. They really take the time, despite not having much access to the internet last time. I think they are more savvy, and I think a lot of us, at least people my generation, our generation, take it for granted. So yeah, definitely would like to understand more about options. Where can I save money? Or, if I do plan to invest in another property in the future, where could I potentially get maybe rebate? And even if I want to sell a property, what's an easier way to do it? Because what I had to go through was quite arduous and quite painful. So yeah.
I think you cannot say you zero, yeah. I I think by comparison, I am zero and you're maybe half. Okay. Okay. What about renting? Okay, for me, in terms of renting, I did rent a place twice actually. So the first time I rented, I decided I just wanted to live away from my parents. I'm like independent woman. I really want to do this. So I saw this place in OUG, and I really liked the place and whatnot. And again, the fellas say sign here, and I signed there and paid a deposit. and even before I spoke to my parents. So of course my parents were against it at that time and said that, you just started, you just started work. Why you want all these things, right? And I was like, yeah, true also. Maybe I was just a little bit too hasty in it. And I realized you cannot take back deposits after you have signed anything. So that was a really good lesson for me because you have to put in 2 months down payment, right? The second time I rented was not an entire house, but I decided to try being a housemate. So that it was not really a experience because I didn't sign anything. I just kind of moved in with a friend and say, okay, I'm taking this room. Actually, I took the whole floor and I said, how much per month? So she handled everything else and I just paid every month. What about you? You're renting now, right? What's your experience like?
So I've been renting, I think for the past almost 7 years. I've had to rent in 3 different locations. The first 2, I was lucky because they were units of my friends. So, again, friend rate, as they say it. I didn't have to kind of flex my muscles when it came to negotiation. And, there's that level of trust that your friend probably not gonna, take advantage of you. But
pull the carpet under you.
Yeah. So, but my third rental experience was something that I loved the area and I loved the property, but it was a bit more than what I wanted to pay as far as monthly rent was concerned. So I had to negotiate. And in that area, it was more of a seller's game, because there is a big demand in that area for apartment units of a certain demographic. So I really had to kind of, make my case and give assurance to my landlord that, I'm a good paymaster and such. But what I would like to share is the unfortunate experience when my contract was coming up. The contract in this instance, the contract was a 2-year contract with an option to renew when the time comes. Now, my landlord, 1 month before the contract was supposed to end, he informed me via the agent that he does not want to renew the contract.
That he didn't want to renew the contract.
Yes, so he didn't want to extend for another year. Now this is just 1 month before the end of contract. So technically, when either party decides, this is something that I had to find out, at that moment. It's not like I had the experience. I had to call up my lawyer friends and say, hey, what do I do now? Because I'm potentially getting evicted and I don't have a place. So my lawyer friends then advised me, I should be able to gain a 2-month notice period, which is part of the contract. But then again, apparently it's a gray area. So it's subject to negotiations between both parties. So that experience was really, really short of traumatizing because within a month I'm supposed to find another apartment, move out, and all this happening within a span of 3 weeks. It's not that easy to find a place that you want to settle in and for at least another 2 years, right? So that was again, if I had known earlier on what my rights were as a tenant, I could have probably prepared myself better. And in hindsight, maybe in the future, I should be proactive. 2 months before the contract ends or 3 months before the contract ends, I should maybe already be asking my landlord, hey, do you want to extend for another year rather than him pulling the carpet from below me and just 1 month before and say, sorry,
Surprise!
yeah, surprise, you're gonna have to move up. Yeah. So so that
Yeah,
was
I think a
yeah.
lot of people do have gone through what you have as well.
Mhm.
And I have actually heard a lot of horror stories about rental from people, as well as people renting it from people that they're not very familiar with. And if any of you out there did experience something like that, do let us know, because that's what this show is about, right? We really want everybody to just share information and get to the bottom of it, know what our rights are. At least we're more informed. And I liked how you said that there was a seller's market you were mentioning earlier on.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was also another term that I was a little bit unsure of when I first started. So it's more like, what does it mean to have a seller's market versus a buyer's market, right?
Mhm.
So it said that after all of this is done, towards the end of this year, it will be a buyer's market.
Yes.
So that's why this program is so timely, that we want to educate everybody, including ourselves, to
Mhm.
ensure that we know what we're doing,
Mhm.
because we're all potentially buyers by the end of this period.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Uh,
So towards the end of this year, if we just packed it all in and we knew everything, at least the basics, right? We
mhm.
would be able to make more choices and more informed decisions to ensure that our next property that we buy is something worth it,
Yes.
and there are no nightmares. So
Yes.
we're like dream catchers for property, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think one of the areas is probably we will talk to lawyers. I
Mhm.
think we can talk to lawyers, we can talk to bankers, even developers themselves, local councils, and these will really be quite good. But if any of you out there have something in specific that you would like us to cover, do let us know, and then we'll cover it in one of our episodes. Okay, you can find us on this page, which is the 5A Realty Sendirian Berhad Facebook page. Just comment below this video and then we will help you out. Okay, so before we go to the next segment, I would like to ask a question first. You seem to have a lot more experience with property than I do. Right now you are
Relative.
2, I'm still 0. Okay, I'm like the sheltered one here. Okay, so I'm going to ask something that a lot of my friends seems to be talking about, and that is feng shui.
Oh.
Feng shui.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you think it is important to look at feng shui?
Okay. I have had experiences of both. Actually taking it into consideration and in the earlier days, not really giving it much thought. I think it's a
Mm,
personal choice. And I think at the end of the day, if you do have access to feng shui advice, then it doesn't hurt. But again, I learned a lot from having. I'm lucky that I have a dear friend who knows feng
mm,
shui. So it's quite funny because every time I go check out the property now, I kind of she's like my plus one, and, and yes, and before deciding on renting, the agent will ask me, so okay, and I'm like, wait, I have to bring my packet, and then the agent looks at me and like, you Malay or Chinese? So, again, I think it is very much a personal choice. For me, it's not whether you believe in the study of feng shui, but
mm.
that advice gives you peace of mind, then I
Yes.
think everything will be better anyway. So part of it is also psychological.
Mm,
And uh, obviously the feng shui advice will be things like, oh, your door must face northeast for you, but for your son it must face west. So
yeah.
it's very, very bespoke. It's very catered. And I've even in my previous office, feng shui plays such a huge part. So I think it's not something that we can just ignore.
Yeah.
And hey, if the feng shui advisors put a plant, more oxygen for you, right? Yeah.
Like a money plant, okay? Money plant.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do have a lot of friends that are really into it. I know my mom is definitely into it, but she's not so particular about Northwest or, where the door must open or, the doorknob must be of a certain degree. She's just not particular like that. She's more into where does the sun rise and where
Mm,
does the sun set.
mm,
And there's actually a logical reason behind it. She said morning suns are not as hot as evening suns.
correct.
So for her, if the morning sun is majority in the house, she's still okay with it because at least there's light and it's not hot,
Not
right? But
scorching.
if the Correct. So, but if the afternoon sun, especially the 3, 4 p.m. ones,
Mhm.
is hitting the house inside, then she would be like, oh, no, 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 no. We will not go for it because it will just steam up the whole house, right? And then you'll be like,
Melting.
dim sum.
Yeah.
Already look like one, like pow. Yeah, so for my mom, it's more of a logical choice. But I have friends who are totally extreme. Like I have a money plant, right? So this money plant came from the office,
Mhm.
and we decided, okay, let's just take back the money plant because we weren't sure when we were going back to the office. And if it needs a little bit of light, and my house is situated in such a way that the toilet has the nicest light. Okay, it just beams the entire day. So I placed it there, and I had a friend that says, "Hey, that one money plant, but you put at toilet." So I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense too." So now it's here. So now it's here, and as you can see, there's a slight sun ray here.
Mhm.
So during the day, it goes there to get a little bit of sun, and then it goes back here.
Right.
Okay. So those of you who are watching, if feng shui is your kind of thing, do let us know, and we will try and find Soraya Skache to come on board and tell you about how to choose number. What's the normal ones? Choose number, direction,
Per direction.
everything,
Um.
square
Uh.
feet.
No, not square feet. Road. Like if it's like a T junction, it's not good.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yes,
Right?
yes, 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 yes.
And then like I mean, you can go into very specific details. Like for example, you know, where should your headboard be placed?
Hmm.
The headboard
Yeah.
of your bed. Like like the advice I got was like, oh, for you, just for you, your headboard cannot be this way. And I'm like, but that would mean there's not much space left if I position the bed that way. And she's like,
Yeah.
find another room.
Yeah.
So I kid you not, the past few properties I have been renting, I have not slept in the master bedroom because find another room, right?
Yeah, and I think that's quite an interesting topic. We must have that topic. You know why? Because most of the time, if you're buying, especially if you're buying from a developer,
Mm-hmm.
you're not seeing the full unit yet.
Yeah.
You're only looking at the floor plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that, it looks great, but if I don't know how to read the floor plan, it's going to be problematic.
Absolutely. Yes. Floor
Yeah.
plans are deceptive because like it looks like you say it looks nice, it looks very spacious. But sometimes
Yes.
I don't even know like what this box with an X, like
Yeah.
and
That's right. That's right.
where is the DB box or where is the refuse room on the whole floor plan, like the whole development,
Yes.
right? So it's good to educate ourselves because um, you know, I mean, preferably you don't want to buy a unit that's next to the refuse room, because
Open toilet window into kitchen.
exactly open toilet window into kitchen, so things like that, right? We want to
Yes.
avoid if we can.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, we must cover that. And if that is another topic that you're also interested in, you have to stay tuned because we will be covering that topic and so many more.
Mhm.
Like, for example, right now, preparing for this buyer's market, right?
Mhm.
Do we even know how to get the cash to buy? And I'm familiar with EPF because of my first property. I did take out some sum of money, but I'm not very sure like from which account or what the amount is. And there seems to be various ways. Like, for example, I took out one whole lump sum
Mhm.
and just paid it off. My brother, on the other hand, with his property, he did a monthly installment. So every month it goes into the bank account. So yeah, so it's quite interesting, right? Have you experienced EPF as well?
No, I have not. But again, that would be something I would be very keen to learn on because
Mm,
although it's not within the near future for me, but at least I know if and when the time comes, which
mm,
account do I go to, how much do I have in there in the first place that I can
right.
I can draw down.
Mm,
And what are the incentives right now? Because
yeah.
especially recent stimulus package that the government has announced, there might be incentives for both the buyer and the seller in the property market because we're all expecting the economy to be a little draggy, a little slow. But like you
Yes.
said, a rebound is very much, something we're all looking forward to. And hopefully that comes by the end of this year. Like you said,
Yeah.
when it becomes a buyer's market. Interest rate will go down for sure. So that's when you want to buy.
Yeah, correct. And when it's time to buy, we have to be really, really prepared,
Yeah.
right? So I think we can even cover. We might even meet developers. Yeah, developers would be good. Don't
Mm-hmm.
you think? Yeah. So because to me, if I'm not mistaken, if you do buy a house
Mm-hmm.
that is a second-hand house, that means somebody already stays in it, right? Your deposit is quite large because it's, let's say you take maximum 90% loan, you have to come up with a large amount of that 10%. But
I don't know.
if you are buying, oh, you did then one, Soraya, two, I'm catching up. All right. We're almost to the end though, but I'm catching up. I'm
You're
catching up.
gonna see it
Okay.
up now.
Okay, so hear me out, okay?
Mhm.
Let's say your home is 100,000 because that's the easier math for me to do, right? So let's say your home is 100,000. If you get a loan for 90%, that's 90,000. Before anything can happen, you will need to clear that 10% first. That means upfront, you need 10,000 just to clear that. Okay. So let's say your average is about 300,000 for something sizable in a nice neighborhood, something that you're more comfortable living. That's 30,000 that you will need to put up before anything else happens. You see? So to me, if we don't have that 30,000, new development might be an answer. See? Yeah, because new development is such that there will be a booking fee
Yeah.
and they will stagger out your first 10%. You
Right.
see? So it's not a lump sum like that. So
Right.
that's a pretty interesting topic.
Right.
And maybe you should host that topic so that you learn more.
I will definitely want to host that topic. Oh my God, that'll be so interesting. Because yeah, you're right. As if you're buying it from a property developer, I recall that it's staggered, but I'm not too sure how it is for purchase from like a second-hand purchase. So
Mm,
second-hand purchase also has other peculiarities that I think the viewers need to be aware of, such as, land title. Is it freehold? Is it leasehold? And in Malaysia especially, there's the Bumi land and the non-Bumi land. Uh,
yes, that's right.
so all these need to be considered, and it will add up, and hopefully you'll be able to make a more informed decision when you decide to buy.
Correct. So we're gonna build an army of buyers by the end of this year.
Absolutely. We're just waiting for this a little bit of a, slow time.
Bump.
Yes, a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a slow time. But, like any situation, it will rebound, right?
Yes,
And
definitely.
we are here to make sure that, like you said, everyone is armed properly to make the decisions. And,
Hmm.
uh, you know, up until I think late last year, developments were sprouting up everywhere.
Yes.
And some of the properties now are really, really gorgeous. And right now it might have been stalled for a few
Mm.
weeks because construction cannot take place. But once that's up and running, I would think that there is going to be a glut in the market. So, it's just a matter of making sure that number one, your cash flow is good because you want to be able to put that down payment, correct?
Correct.
And number two, yes, and and number two, you need to make sure that you listen to us so that you know what you're getting yourself into and you're making the right choice.
So what you need to do is go to the 5A Reality Sdn Berhad page. Let's do this and then we'll edit it in. It's right at the bottom right now. And like us, we will be on and we will have all the topics that you need to be prepared for the buyer's market. If there's something you enjoyed in this show, please do like, share, and you put your comments in and we will get right back to you. Okay? So I think that's all the time we have for our very first episode. Wasn't that
Ah,
fun?
that was fun. Yes. And we are actually
Yeah.
looking forward to the next because it's a lot of sharing that will take place.
Yes, definitely. So stay tuned and we will be back with our next episode. My name is San and I'm with,
Soraya Monday.
and we're on 5A to Z. See you again. Bye.
Bye.